Hi Stampers, thanks for joining me today for the June product spotlight, which is Beach Happy. In this video I will focus on assembling, since this video is really geared to those of you that have purchased the June kit. So you won't be getting measurements in this video. If you've not purchased a kit from me before, every month I choose one product to spotlight. The cost is $30, so in addition to getting the stamp set, you'll also get 4 projects that are pre-cut and ready to go, along with a video to help you assemble your project. We're going to assemble this one first, and I'm using Memento ink. And so you've got a full sheet of half a sheet of cardstock, scored, folded in half. You've got a piece of white cardstock for the inside. And I don't show you the inside decoration because I figure you can do that on your own. This piece here, so that just gets centered on the front. Okay. Now let's leave this sample here. All right, I've given you 2 stitched circles, so just in case you make a mistake, no problems. All right, so I'm going to ink up the tree with the umbrella in the Memento. And let me get a foam pad. This is a photopolymer set, so it's going to be easier if you stamp on a foam pad. All right, got that there. And then I'm going to do just the umbrella, just ink up the umbrella only, and write on the DSP. Okay, so you would fussy cut this out and then just glue it to the top here. Okay, then I've given you a piece of scrap, and on the scrap we're going to stamp the little tote bag, the beach bag, and then the inside, the little crosshatch inside piece, I'm doing in crushed curry, but you can really do it in any yellow that you've got. And so there, and cut that out. I've taken a marker, I've just taken crumb cake, and I've done the handles and the trim, and then fussy cut that out as well. Then you're going to need a red. Any red will do. I'm using Poppy Parade. And the inside of the chair is striped. And so it's kind of a challenge to get that in there, but I find that if I line the top of the chair up, I can get it pretty close. And if it's off a little bit, nobody's gonna know. All right, so you've got that. You're gonna take this, you're going to mount this on top. You're going to fussy cut out the little bag. 2-step, you've got the outline of the hat, and then you've got the inside of the hat. So on the outline, the outside, sorry, just in basic black in the Memento. Inside, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to do that also in red, just for something a little different. And we're going to line that up. Okay. Now you'll notice the rim of the hat and the underneath side of the hat are not colored. So you can either leave that white or do whatever other color you'd like. So you've got 2 of these white strips. They're meant for wishing you sunny days. And you've got a piece of this burlap ribbon. And all I did was run my ATG gun, or you can use double-sided tape, taped down, then the saying would go on top of it, and then your circle would go on top of that, okay? And for time constraints, I'm not going to put the whole thing together. I think you get that. Let's move on to number 2. Is this one here. Okay. And this one, I'm only going to give you a couple of hints on this template. So you'll each get a template in your card kit, and all you need to do is put a little adhesive around the back here. I'd use a tape runner, either a permanent or temporary. If you're using permanent adhesive, then just after you put tape all around the outside, just hit it on your pants, okay? That'll take off some of that tackiness so it won't stick to your card. Then you're going to lay it on your white cardstock. Would give you that same kind of a look. And what you're going to do is when you start, you never start in the circle, because that'll give you just too much concentrated color. You always start off the side and then pull color and rub in, okay? And I even just have a tendency to leave a little bit of a white area in the center. All right, and then we'll go in, and you get the idea. I don't need to sponge for you. Stamp the trunks, stamp the trees on a separate piece of white cardstock, and then fussy cut them out. They are popped up with dimensionals. The ribbon, you're going to tie the longer piece around the back of the white, and then just tack it down with a piece of Scotch tape or even your tape runner. And then just tie this piece on and cut the angles in there. All right. All right, so we have this one. Now this background, as I said, is already done. The oval is already cut for you. And here I stamped, oh, I forgot to mention, on these trees here, I used Granny Apple Green. This is Granny Apple Green as well. And the trunk here is done in its crumb cake. All right, and then this is Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay. Okay, this color back here is Bermuda Bay. All right, the ribbon again is just tied around taped around the back side. And the smaller piece here is knotted. This piece is popped up with dimensionals, and then you do have these water droplets that are included in your kit. Note, I did the sponging first. And the sponging on this one, I did Balmy Blue for the sky, and I did Crumb Cake for the sand. So on this one, I'm going to show you a little bit more what I did. So, at least for the background. All right, so you've got a piece of watercolor paper, and as I said, you'll have 2 in your kit. And one of them is blank, and the other one already has the trees embossed on it, so that if you don't have embossing powder and Versamark, you won't be stuck. So as I'm using Coastal Cabana and I'm using Bermuda Bay as my 2 blues for the sky / water. And all you do is squeeze the cover to get a pool of ink here in the lid. And I'm using an aqua painter, and I'm just going to prime it a little bit and get water in there. Make sure I've got some water coming down. Now, if you don't have an aqua painter, you can easily use a paintbrush, okay? And I am squeezing as I'm going, and I want to make this wet. You can even wet the paper first, but I find I've got enough water going on that I don't need to wet it first. And you don't want an all-over wash. I'm going to open up the second one, do the same, and pull some of the darker color in. And if your color is too washed out, just pick some up from the stamp pad and you'll get some darker color as well. And you can go back on watercolor paper as many times as you like until you get the look that you want. So don't fear that it doesn't look like you want it to look at first. Just let it sit, let it dry. You can take a heat gun to it if you'd like, and then just go back and add more color. All right, so once you've got, I'm sorry, I'm off screen here. All I'm doing is cleaning my brush by just wiping it on the grid paper. All right, and then we're going to take crumb cake. Crumb cake, you can see, is well used. And I'm picking up color here. I'm going to try not to get too much water close to the blue until I know it's dry, because otherwise I'll end up with whatever blue and green turn out to be together. All right. Okay. And I've got a little bleeding here, but that's all right. Now, because I've already heat embossed some of these, it doesn't matter. Go ahead and do your sky and do your ground, then stamp your trunks, and then let the whole thing dry until you move on to the next step. All right. You can watercolor over the embossing. It's not going to make a difference. But what I would do is, before it's completely dries, just take a paper towel or a tissue and just go over the trees. And that'll pick up any of the excess ink that you might have gotten on there from doing your watercolor. Okay. The piece of burlap ribbon that is in here, what I've done is I've just pulled, I don't think you can see it, there's a tiny little thread here. I've just pulled this thread and then turn that off, and that just gives me that frayed edge. Okay, and then I've done that on both sides. Just run your fingers over it and it'll pull it right out. Okay, all right, so there we go. All right, this edge, after I've stamped the thanks, I've just torn it. And if you tear it towards you, you'll get a completely different look than if you tore it away from you. All right, you've got these little embellishments. They're adhered with glue dots. And then there is a piece of this. It's not our regular linen thread. I've actually taken one of these apart and given you just one of these threads to thread through the button. It's actually threaded through the button and then just knotted and tied. Okay. All right. So that's that for today. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Thanks again for subscribing. It's really called Maggie's Product Spotlight. And I hope you enjoy the kit. If you have any questions, as I said, let me know. Contact me via email or through my website, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day. Take care.